what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I am Jeffrey Kirby. Of course, each and every week, we have our man, Jarryd. Jarryd, how in the hell are you?
Happy Thursday. Hanging in there. I'm just hanging in there is all I could say.
Today's a great day. Well, today is a great day for me and Jarryd. Yesterday was a great day because it is officially welcome back to the NFL. We get our first NFL game of this season. So for us, since I know we celebrate happy NFL is back day for this, since we do celebrate. And obviously, of course, if you're listening to this podcast, well, you probably celebrated as well, even though it does involve a AFC North foe, which I do have an interesting topic involving the AFC North, but we're going to get into that a little bit later on. Real quick, I do want to say I have to, real quick, I got to do this for myself. You don't even know where I'm going with this.
I don't know. We'll see.
So literally about 5 seconds before we were on, before we started recording here, I had a little bit of fun with Sir Jarryd here, because you know he is a fellow New York Stanky fan, is what we like to call him, and had to give him a little bit of fun, knowing the fact that the New York Yankees are in sole possession of last place in the AL East. This is just incredible. It's an incredible time. It's an incredible time for those that celebrate.
You're not getting a reaction from me. I'm just going to sit here.
Because he gave me his reaction before. As you can tell by his little rockingness of his body, you can tell how he's feeling about the Yankees. One more thing that I will say about that is give Brian Cashman a lifetime contract. That is all I will say for this rendition of me talking a whole lot of shit about the New York Yankees. So there you go with that. Now let's get into something that will actually cheer up Jarryd a little bit and give him some more positivity to make him not think about the New York Yankees there. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, because it seems like they are getting a whole lot of hype. Now, I've been saying this for a little bit now, and this kind of goes right on board with what I've been saying for a little bit now. I've been saying that the Steelers, it seems like from the national media that they're getting the same treatment that the Philadelphia Eagles got a year ago. What happened with the Philadelphia Eagles? They ended up going to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl this year. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is they are getting a lot of national hype from the media, from big time media. Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football, he had some stuff to say. Now, this clip I do not have, but I mean, I'm pretty sure all of Steeler fans have seen this, basically from Kyle Brandt, and they were talking about the Steelers. And overall, just saying how down the stretch, one thing that he did mention in his clip, though, was everyone is talking about the Lions. They were great down the stretch, blah, blah. They were 5-2. They're getting all this hype now. But what about the Steelers? They were 6-1 down the stretch, and that one loss, Kenny Pickett wasn't even a starter. That was that Baltimore game that he obviously didn't play in almost all of that game outside of one drive.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that, and it's the national media is just giving a lot of praise to the Pittsburgh Steelers, saying, hey, watch out for these guys. Let me ask you this, as a fan, and, you know, obviously as media, and as a fan, do you want to have the Steelers kind of getting this national hype, or would you rather them go under the radar?
I'd rather go under the radar. I like this, no one talking about us, just, you know, we'll see when we play week 1. That's how I see it. Now, I think they're starting to realize it because of what they saw the George Pickens catch, and I think they're starting to bring that a little more out. Like they're saying, "Oh wow, the Steelers are having a great training camp." Kenny Pickett's where are we actually throwing the ball down the field? Is there play action involved? I hope so, because of those training clips, you see them throwing it down the field. I don't believe it till I see it. That's how probably you are as well. I got to believe it till I see it in person week 1. If I see a play action, deep, we're moving.
Which, by the way, obviously, on this other rendition of saying that we will be there at week 1 for the Steelers season. And, which, by the way, we're a little behind the scenes. Tickets have been purchased. They were purchased. I know for me, I purchased mine, I want to say last week. I've taken my official virginity of sitting in club level for an NFL game. So I've now sat in club in baseball, football, and a basketball game. So, but I mean, that's really nothing to brag about, but you know what? It is kind of cool.
Almost a month away.
Well, you know what? Here, hold on. I have a countdown. I have a countdown.
It's almost a month away. That's all I know.
I have a countdown.
It is coming up
so
slowly.
It is 35 days until the Friday, which is the 8th, which is when we will all be leaving to go to Pittsburgh. And so that would make it 37 days. 37 days, which means tomorrow we will be at, I want to say, Jerome Bettis days away.
Jerome Bettis days away. You are correct, sir.
We are today at... Wait, no, hold on. I think I might be losing my mind. No. I'm stupid. Yeah, apparently I can't count. I can't count. Never mind. Disregard everything I just said, because I'm pretty sure I'm just wrong there.
But anyways, I don't want to be under the radar. I like it. Let's keep it. Keep
Okay.
doing what we're doing.
Yeah, here's the thing about being here's the weird part about this Steelers season. Obviously, it's going to start off with the quarterback. It always starts with the quarterback, unless you have a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow, where it's like, well, even in this training camp, well, we don't know how Joe Burrow's going to look like coming back because, we had that huge scare with that calf strain, which, thank God, it is only a calf strain because that would have not been good for the NFL. Because as much as we don't like the Bengals, he is an electrifying guy. He's a great dude.
I want to see him play.
You want to see him play? Exactly.
I want to see him play.
I want to see him play. And they're fun to watch. As much as we hate them as Steelers fans, they are fun to watch. But
you want the best competition. No excuses.
But back to what I'm trying to say. We don't know what Kenny Pickett's going to look like. Is he going to make a small jump up? Is he going to take a Trevor Lawrence jump from year 1 to year 2? We don't know. But I think that's what's making this training camp. That's what's making this the intriguement of just this overall preseason into waiting for September 10th and waiting for the NFL season. We don't know. And this is because here's the thing. Like you've mentioned, we're seeing, at least in training camp, they're actually pushing the ball downfield a little bit. George Pickens is being George Pickens, which, by the way, you want to talk about quotes that aged very well. The day before he had the incredible catch, he was saying that he was the best wide receiver in the world. People are like, well, we know you're good, but the best, huh? And then he goes out and does that, and it's like, well, that aged like fine wine. But I mean, first and foremost, it's like the whole thing with Chase Claypool last year where he said he was a top whatever receiver in the NFL. The mindset. I didn't have a problem with it then. I think it was stupid that he said. I mean, I thought the actual concept of the quote was stupid. Like, of course you're not top 3, but I understand why you say it. I understand that you have to have that in your confidence because it's like, oh yeah, I'm not a top 10, whatever. Unless you're just trying to be either really humble or just really, really like realistic or whatever. I mean, to have that in your mindset, you got to say, I am the best. And that's going to keep you going. That's going to keep you wanting to train even more to prove to people on why you are the best.
Yep.
And when you are the best, you want to keep that going. How do you think guys that, like for an example in boxing, Floyd Mayweather, he's the best, or John Jones in the UFC. In my opinion, John Jones is the GOAT, but there's always more to keep on proving. Like Tom Brady, he's the GOAT, but he was always fine. He wanted to go for more. So you want to have that kind of mindset. And the thing is with Kenny is, like I said, we don't know what kind of improvement he's going to get. If you get an exponential improvement based on his play, watch out, because here's the thing with the Steelers defense. Going to the defense for half a second. We're not banking on another season. Now, as much as it kind of sucks that this defense is still very, very, very TJ Watt dependent, we're not as of now, we're not expecting him to have another injury that's going to keep him out half a season.
No.
So, if he's out there and he's healthy, this defense is going to be damn good. Damn good. And then the offense, if we actually start to see some improvements, if we actually see them pushing the ball downfield. So one thing that I've been doing last night today, I went back and rewatched the 2018 Steelers-Patriots game, the game that we beat Tom Brady, New England, and the Patriots. And that offense, the way that offense was, we didn't score all that many points, but the way that offense was actually moving the football, you had guys like Jalen Samuels and Stephen Ridley. Guys like that, they were effectively being able to run the football, which we know that the Steelers want to run the football effectively. They ran the football very effectively. And on top of that, you had AB and Juju, which that was Juju's best year. That was the year that he had 1,500 yards. So teams had to accommodate for him. You have that with this offense. You have someone like Deontay Johnson where he can burn you. George Pickens has the potential to be all-world. You have guys like that. Allen Robinson, I'm not saying that he's going to be production-wise, I'm not expecting a whole lot, nor I don't think anyone else is. We're not expecting a whole lot of production out of him. But what he's being able to provide in terms of leadership for that wide receiver group and that wide receiver room is very valuable. And that's, I think, the reason why they brought him in. And that's a very important thing. Calvin Austin, he might be able to bring in a different dynamic in terms of his speed. Then you got Pat, of course.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Warren back up running. You know, you got dealing with Jalen Warren, dealing with Connor Hayward, and seeing what kind of contributions he's going to make. Darnell Washington, in terms of being a receiver, unless you get him in the end zone a couple times, not expecting a whole lot out of him.
Nope.
In terms of receiving production. But this offense has the capabilities. This offensive line they've boosted up that left side of that offensive line. Which we're going to get into the offensive line here in a little bit, because we talked about something last week and some things might have been transpiring with that. We'll get into that here in a minute. Well, we might have been a little foreshadowing with that. This offense has the chance to be, and this is a word that Kyle Brandt said on Good Morning Football, dangerous. This Steelers team has a chance to be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it. I'm hearing the offensive line, Broedrick Jones, coming around pretty good so far. Already had a good day today. See how it keeps going. Week one starter potentially.
Before we get into the offensive line talk, because I do have something I want to say about that, I want to ask you a question about that word dangerous. Because people could say, oh, they're a dangerous team. Like, for an example, Kansas City. We know they're dangerous. Cincinnati, we know they're dangerous. The Eagles, we're expecting them to be dangerous. But when you say the word, they're going to be a dangerous team, think in a way you kind of have to define what you're talking about. Because there's two ways that I think you can define dangerous. Are you talking just teams that you know right now are going to be great and they're going to be an issue? such as a Kansas City, such as a Cincinnati, such as a Philadelphia? Or are you talking dangerous as in this is a team that is going to shock the world? This is a team that is under the radar. This is a team that people are not expecting. And for them to be good, and they end up being dangerous because they end up being better than what people think. If you look at it from the first perspective that I said, we can't say that the Steelers are dangerous. Can't say that. But if you say from the second part of that the question part of meaning they're being an under the radar team, absolutely. Because while yes, we are saying that the national media is giving us love, part of that as well is look at the brand, the Steelers brand. People, it's like the intuition of when you think of certain franchises, you kind of have a notion of them already. When someone mentions the Steelers or even now the Patriots, they think sustained success. Well, for the last 20 years for the Patriots, but even for the Steelers, sustained success.
Yep.
But when you think of other teams, like say the Jags or the Browns or whoever, or even the Lions, they kind of have this predetermined notion that what could go wrong will go wrong, and they're not going to be that great. For an example, like tonight, or last night for the viewers, you have the Hall of Fame game, which is going to be starting about 3 minutes ago. Because it's currently 8:03 as we're recording this, and the game started at 8. There's those two teams, they have a chance to be dangerous. They can be very good. But there's this kind of predetermined notion that the Jets have been the Jets, and the Browns have been the Browns.
Yep.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's realistic.
Yep. We'll see. We could be dangerous. If this offense, what's the potential? What's the ceiling for the offense? Top 10 offense? Is that the ceiling, or top 15?
If this offense somehow, some way became top 10 with this defense that we're expecting to have, then you're looking at something. However, I would be more realistic to say I think this offense is going to be about mid. And when I say mid, I'm not talking that literally middle of the pack.
Oh, I agree. 100%. I think if they're top 15, that's pretty impressive.
They could be top 15 and have the defense that we're thinking that they're going to have this year. Well, then you're on to something.
Yeah, if they're above average offense, like I said, we're having something. Just anything better than last year. Please.
Jesus, Lord have mercy. Good Lord. All right.
Just anything.
Let's get to this offensive line. Because now Alex Kozura, obviously, if you're a part of Steelers Twitter, everyone knows who he is. He does a phenomenal job. He's been posting a lot of clips and stuff. Shout out to him. Not that he needs a shout out from us because, well, he's way bigger than us. And I'm not talking about figure because
I know what
you put us three together, we're going to make the number 100. But what I mean, he's done a great job. And he made a comment on Twitter and he said, "What? In fact, here or shall I say, X now?"
I'm calling it a tweet.
Oh, jeez, it's like, what the hell are we doing here? Let me refine this tweet here. Okay. Nope. I saw it earlier when it was about Broedrick.
Oh, I know what tweet you're talking about.
You know exactly what tweet I'm talking about, but I'm gonna find this. Kozura. Okay, here we go. He said, "You guys know I tried to be as measured with my takes as possible, do my best to not be a prisoner of the moment, and there's still a long ways to go. But yesterday's practice, talking about, I want to say the second, but yesterday's practice from Broedrick Jones makes me feel like, quote, yeah, this dude's gonna be gonna start week 1, end quote. That's what we wanted. To get exactly what we wanted to hear. And here's the thing, too, when it comes to this offensive line. Last week, we mentioned how, hey, we'd like to maybe see Dan Moore maybe do a little bit on the right side and see what he can do. And if worse comes to worse, you have Jones as your left tackle and Dan Moore as your right tackle. Possibly. Well, we did see a little bit of that throughout the week. There was a little bit of repetitions for Dan Moore at right tackle as well.
See what happens. I think the preseason games are going to really tell a little bit more.
Nah, I'm not going to say...
Not a lot, but you know what I'm saying. If they put Dan Moore a little more on the right side.
See, I don't even think we're going to see a whole lot. I think that's just going to be a lot of... I mean, unless maybe later on down the line, if you start to see if Chooks is not playing that well, or he continues to get beat in practice and just not having a greater practice, then maybe when you get to preseason game number 3, which, I mean, I really don't want to see the starters out there in week 3. We saw what happened last year, but we know how Mike Tomlin is, and he's got to throw them out there. He's got to do it. We know it. We don't want it, but we know it's got to happen. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's the one thing I'm really excited about with this offensive line is you get this run game going. You get the run game going. That's going to open up a whole lot. Because especially for Najee. Najee, he, in terms of just his career, he has to have a huge year this year. If he wants any shot of getting some sort of decent extension, he has to have a big year this year. If not, it ain't looking good for him at all.
Oh, I agree. Totally.
And it may not even look good for him at all, even if he does have a good year. We don't know, but it's oof.
But man, I seen that one train to Jalen Warren coming out went to the left side, popped, pulled into the end zone with that offensive line. Just gets me excited, man.
Yeah, I mean, we shall see. Here's another question for you, talking about broadening out a little bit about the AFC North. As of right now, currently August 3rd, 2023, about a little over a month away till the NFL season actually begins. How do you think this AFC North is going to play out? Because this is by far the hardest division in football to determine that. Maybe between this and like the AFC East. But this division...
I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, the main topic, like the media. Will the Steelers finish last in the AFC North? What percentage? I'm like, I laugh to myself saying, of course I'm a Steelers fan. I'm not going to say, no, we're not going to finish in last place. Like, there's a lot of questions with other teams. Most teams, I would say. I don't think we finished last at all. I say I'm going to give respect to the Bengals. I think they will still have this division. And I could see it be second, worst case scenario, third place. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Browns still in last place. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Deshaun Watson and all of them.
Oh, I'm saying it with full disrespect.
They just have way too many questions for me. Way too many questions. How is Deshaun Watson going to handle this full offseason? Is he really going to progress with the offense? And how's Kevin Stefanski doing with this offense? Their defense is, I don't know how their defense, I think they're okay. They have some good players, I guess. I just know Myles Garrett, really. Who else is back there?
Right now, I think for them on defense, their biggest questions by far are going to be their defensive line, because right now you have Obo Okoronkwo that they got from I want to say Houston, and their defensive tackles were already kind of weak. They went out and got Dalvin Tomlinson, but then they had to release one of their draft picks last year, Perion Winfrey. So that position that was already kind of weak got a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be something to watch out for. And then, obviously, they have a lot of guys that are coming back from injury this year. Their linebacking core last year got decimated with injuries. It was decimated.
Gosh. I felt so bad. They went so many practice squad guys had to go up for them. They just had a rotation.
Hey, it was like us against Tampa Bay last year, where we had to have Drew Hannes out there as at our starting cornerback position.
Oh my God, Jesus!
Which, by the way,
Jesus,
if you know, you know.
Shout out, Drew Hannes. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
If you know, you know.
But even with the Ravens, the Ravens, their defense is okay, I guess. They're decent. I still think it's a lot of question marks with them.
Here's the thing. So I was listening to a thing with Dan Orlovsky asking about, and it seems like Dan Orlovsky was kind of the one person that's saying, hey, out of the national media, that the Steelers might end up, have a good shot of being last in the division. So what he said about it, and the reason why, was saying, what position group are they better at clearly than everyone in the division? Quarterback position? No, I understand that. Running back? No, I understand that. Wide receiver core? No, yes. I mean, no. We all know because of, Cincinnati. Offensive line? As of now, no. As much as they've been banged up the last few years, Cleveland still has a great offensive line. But I think where you get is the defense. Cincinnati's defense has never been, they're not great. They're not bad. They're not great.
They're average.
They get the job done.
Exactly.
Baltimore is the team that you could argue with that. And even then, I think I'd rather have the Steelers defense than their defense.
Agreed.
So you have a whole entire defense, one side of the field that I think is better than everyone else in the division. Mm-hmm. And when you look at head coach, now unless you ask people inside Steeler or within Steeler fans, which still mind boggles me beyond belief, Mike Tomlin, best head coach in the division, easily. Then you have Harbaugh. Then toss it up between Zach Taylor and Kevin Stefanski, however you want to handle that. Mm-hmm. So you have the best head coach, in my opinion, the best defense. In terms of quarterback, I have no issues with saying right now we have the fourth. No issues with that right now.
Nope.
Running back, Nick Chubb's easily number one. No doubt about it, in my opinion. He, as much as I do love to troll, which, by the way, Browns fans got so triggered. Did you see the NFL Top 100?
Yeah.
Where Austin Eckler got rated higher than Nick Chubb? Oh, that triggered Browns fans so much. Oh, that made me happy. But as much as I do love to troll, being honest, being realistic, I do think Nick Chubb is at worst top 2 running back in the NFL. Wide receivers, we all know that Cincinnati easily has that. You can make the argument for Cleveland based on Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. We don't know. There's question marks on him. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he was almost a 1,000-yard receiver. Baltimore, their receivers, don't scare me.
Nope.
They don't scare me at all. And I think there's still a little bit of an unknown factor with our wide receiver core. Mm-hmm. Get to the tight ends. Baltimore, number 1, Mark Andrews.
Yep.
After that, I mean, I don't even... Who even is Cincinnati's tight end? I don't remember. And I'm not even being, trying to try. I realistically don't remember.
Did they draft one? Did they draft one this year?
I don't...
Was it? Oh, I don't think I'm tripping.
You might be tripping.
Okay, but anyways.
And then...
I think Pat's number 2. You got to say Pat.
I'll say...
Maybe? 2, 3?
Outside of that, or David Njoku? I mean, I think I'd rather have Pat.
Of course.
Offensive line,
sure.
Cleveland's number one, in my opinion, on there. Cincinnati has issues with their offensive line. They went out last year and they invested a lot into that offensive line to try to rebrand that or retool that. That didn't go out so well for them. Baltimore, I will be 1,000,000,000% honest. I don't know a whole lot about their offensive line.
I know nothing.
So, and then obviously they did play better than anticipated last year, but there's still a little bit of question marks. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the defense. Right now, Pittsburgh is expected to have a top whatever defense in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Baltimore, they could be up there too. You can see that you always have to throw them out as a possibility of having a good defense. Cincinnati's they're good, not great. They're going to get the job done. And then Cleveland, they just have question marks. They have question marks. I mean, they have good pieces. You got Myles Garrett, you got Denzel Ward. Give them that. But there's question marks with them.
Question marks.
I mean, last year they got obliterated on run defense. Obliterated. Which was why there was a reason why they went out and invested a little bit in their defensive tackles this year in free agency. So with this with this whole overall thing, when you look at it in that notion, are you sure? Mm-hmm. Are you really sure, Dan? That's my question with that.
I don't know what Dan was thinking, in my opinion. When he said you have a chance being in last, it kind of was a little shocking.
And like I said, and a lot of it could go with the notion itself that the Steelers are going to find a way. Mm-hmm. There is that as well, which I'll gladly take, of course. One last question for you before we get on out of here, because I want to go watch some football. Kenny Pickett or Deshaun Watson? Who do you think will have the better year this year? There's a reason why I'm specifically saying Deshaun. Because
I'm biased. I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to pick Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. I just think I think he'll improve. Better than Deshaun Watson? I'm taking Kenny. I'm just taking Kenny. We have too much talent. I know they have talent as well, but I think our ceiling is a little bit higher that can happen with this offense. But if Kenny, keeps doing what he's doing like he did in training camp, in the real games, it might work out. We'll see what happens. I like Kenny Pickett's chances personally. Of course I'm going to go with Kenny. I'm not picking Deshaun.
As much as I want to say Kenny, here's my issue. This is my one and only issue. We haven't seen Kenny have real success in the NFL.
Oh, of course.
We've seen Deshaun have real success in the NFL. And
that's what you're thinking. You're hoping Deshaun goes back to that form. That's what you're banking. That's what the guaranteed contract's for.
Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are looking at the notion, again last year, of looking at those 6 games and saying, hey, those were god-awful, blah, blah, blah. I've said this. I was a guest on a podcast last week, and I mentioned it on there. I said if those 6 games that he played last year, I'm throwing them away. And this is coming from me, being a avid Browns hater and a Steeler lover. Here's the thing with Deshaun Watson last year. If you really expected him to come out last year and just sling it and, no. You were being very oblivious and just straight up stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And even a lot of Browns fans, I live in Cleveland, I hear them all the time. Most of them were saying, hey, maybe a half or even that first game because they were expecting rust. And then, going forward, they were expecting, better. But here's the thing. When Deshaun Watson came back, they had less than 1% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
There was no point in putting real tape out there. Real tape that you were going to use for 2023 and real plays that you would use in 2023 when you have the full season when it's his team. Mm-hmm. What was the point? So
I agree. I didn't expect them to play that bad.
It was more of going back to the 1970s and having basically a 6-game preseason where he played every single one. That's kind of the mindset that they had. This year, he's had a full regular offseason. And listen, as much as I want to say Kenny, and maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. This is one of those clips where I hope I get clipped and people clown me, and I'm okay with it. But with this one, I almost have to go with I think Deshaun was going to be better because we've seen it out of him. It's like like when you're going golfing and you see someone and they're putting and there's a 4-foot putt. It's say Tiger Woods. He has a 4-foot putt and it's like, go ahead, pick it up. We've seen you make it 100 times. You know you're good. Me, on the other hand, I am a newer golfer. You're going to want to see me do that. You're going to want to, hey, hit that 4-foot putt. You want to see me do it. That's Kenny Pickett versus, so we've seen Deshaun do it, have success in the NFL. We have not seen Kenny have real success in the NFL. I want to see it.
No, I hear you. I listen. I hear you. You have a great point. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong as well.
I hope you're wrong, because I understand Deshaun was going through a lot. This is his first full off season. It's been 2020 was his last good season, right?
2020 was the last season. He played a full season, and he was the league leader in passing yards.
Which is good. You hope he gets back to that form. We've seen it. I get it. I can't argue with it. That I'm just gonna go with Kenny. You're not gonna hear me say Deshaun Watson. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you're right. Screw Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and you're not gonna hear me say that I'm picking Deshaun Watson over Kenny Pickett to have a better season. You're wild. It's like saying I'm taking Andre Iguodala for that shot over Steph Curry.
Shout out to Max. It's still fuck on stage for me, but other than that, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment. We're getting close to football season. Well, we're getting close. Tonight.
Preseason next week.
Huh?
Preseason next week.
Preseason next week, baby. I can't wait.
I'll be in Tampa. Tampa Steelers. Week 1.
It's going to be great. And real quick, self-promotion for myself. Last night I will have posted my first NFL reaction video. This year I'm doing NFL reaction videos a little bit different. I may do like AFC North ones on the Renegade channel, but like just random games like, Cardinals versus whoever. If I'm doing a reaction video, I'm probably going to post them on my personal channel at Kirby's Corner, it's Kirby's Corner with a K for corner. Simply because it made no sense for me to post Steelers or AFC North related reaction videos on this channel. So I'm going to be doing that. So I may post, we'll figure it out. I might post it on my personal channel. But obviously next week when the Steelers play their their preseason game, I'll definitely have it on this channel. 1,000,000%. But other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. If you are somewhere down south, stay cool. I was getting ready to say stay warm because, here in Ohio, we have to stay warm once in a while. Unlike you Floridians, congratulations to you on all your weather success. But until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Fuck the Yankees. Peace out.
Vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.